Alright, so today we're going to be looking at converting our little push mower into a dethatching machine. But we're not going to, we use it for dethatching, but we're going to also use it to cut some ivy roots that are in the backyard. I'll show you in just a second. But what we're going to do is put this special blade on it. Hopefully you can see that. But this is called a dethatching blade from Oregon. I got it off of Amazon. And that should fit that mower just fine. And the only secret to this is that it's got that spring sticking down there. There's one on each end. And I'll show you how that looks when we get the blades on there. So let's go right ahead and change out the blades on this, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so this is what comes in the package. You get this very heavy duty blade with these interesting connectors here on with the little thing like that. You get a whole pile of washers to make sure that it'll fit onto your mower, because it's kind of a universal. And you get two springs. So we're going to go ahead and I put the first spring on here, but what has to happen is you slide it on like this, and that has to slide under there. So I think I'll do that off camera, and then I'll tell you about it. Well, as usual, we have a little bit of an issue to begin with, and that is this is called the blade adapter, and it's supposed to go on there like that. The blade goes on like this over the top of it. But as I took the blade off, I realized this was broken. You see it there? So it goes off to the big box store, in this case Lowe's. Luckily they had one. So there's my replacement. Putting these springs on was pretty straightforward. So there they are. And it turns out that with this adapter on there, with this adapter, the blade will fit right on there, no problem. So let me get that on there and I'll show you. Okay, there's the new blade on. And you can see the new hub on there, blade adapter. And it went on pretty easily, not a big deal. Now, the one thing I'm curious about is the depth of this blade into the dirt, if you want. And because I'm trying to cut the ivy roots, I want that to go down pretty far. And let me show you something. So that'll show you the gap, if you mind. That's the bottom of the wheels. You can see this board is on the wheels here. And that's the gap between the two of them. There we go. It looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch of a gap. So I may have to lower the wheels down. You can see I can do that. This is not the easiest mower to do that on. You actually have to take the wheels off to lower them. But I'm going to try it out like this first and see how it does. And then we'll take it from there. Well, it does. The blade does a nice job of kind of tearing things up, as you can see here. However, it was making a heck of a racket, and here's why. See that? That's because the spring, this little guy, when it goes round and round real fast, this spring starts to bend out and hits the side here. And it hit it along in here as well. And I've tried rebending the springs so that they don't, I tried to bend them in like that, and that still didn't do it, because the minute they hit something in the dirt, it started to spread them out again, and they would hit. So here's my initial conclusion. I was debating, as you can see, this is a 20-inch blade. This matches the blade in there. I was debating whether to put a 20-inch blade in or a 16-inch blade. And I'd seen a number of folks doing 16-inch blades, but I didn't see why. And now I understand why to put a 16-inch blade where a 20-inch regular blade is, because it gives plenty of room for these springs to spread out and do their thing. So I'm going to be thinking about this. Maybe I'll have a better solution than that, but for right now I may be on hold while I figure these out. Alright, so we're going to try this again with a 16-inch blade, not the 20, because the 20 was too big, as we showed. So let's put that on there, and then we'll give it a try. And so you can see it's got a goodly gap here. So this spring, when the blade goes around, can swing out here farther. Let's see if I can get this right. There we go. So it can swing out like to there easily and still not hit the side. Remember, it was hitting down here with that 20-inch blade. All right, well, let's give this a go. Well, that didn't last very long. So let me show you. Oops, I'll show you what I've got here. The springs broke off already. Nothing left of them. So there's no springs sticking down on either side. Well, and I don't have any replacement springs yet, so that's the end of the dethatching blade for today. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is it going over the normal lawn. And over here, it was doing a pretty good job. Probably hard for you all to tell, but it did do a good job of chopping things up. So what I ended up doing was lowering the wheels all the way down on this particular one. So what I might do is just put the regular blade back on and see if that'll get me to where I want to be, because then it'll chop it down real low. Well, live and learn. Definitely in that rough terrain over there. Up in here, there are rocks and roots and old bricks. You can see all the old bricks piled up here that came out of that area. So I find them bits and pieces, and I suspect that that's what did the springs in, is when it hit the rock or two or a brick or two. That's the end of that. All right, well, we'll switch out to the regular blade and see how that does. Well, that's just with the blade, and although it's not digging down quite as far as I wanted, it is doing a good job at leveling and kind of getting the mulch ready so that I can put seed over this. So I don't know, I'm kind of thinking maybe just the plain old blade is good enough for right now, and just keep going over and over and over. It just sort of keeps, because the blade's low enough to the ground, it keeps pulling the junk up into the blade and kind of shredding it, so it's acting as kind of a mulcher and leveler all at once. So we'll just keep going with it and cleaning out and cutting off roots as we go, because that's kind of how it goes, is you slow and steady. All right. All right, so this is about 4 hours of running that mower with the blade only and at the lowest setting, and cleans up pretty good. Sort of scalping, I guess you could call it, the lawn and the yard, knocking down the high points and getting rid of some of the ivy tangle on the ground, the runners and roots and whatnot. So, time to put some seed on, and we'll see how that turns out. Well, so here's the sort of a late fall going into winter shot of where we used that dethatcher blade and then gave up and used the mower. And I think it turned out pretty good. It certainly took a lot of the hills and valleys off of the area. So, although the dethatcher blade did not do a good job in terms of kind of digging in the dirt, the lowering the blade down did. So there you go. A fail turned into a win. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe. See ya. Bye.